Sorry, I can't come into work tomorrow. I'm a full-time podcaster now. Welcome to Midlight Crisis, a real podcast hosted by three grown adults revisiting books from our teens, and it's totally cool. I am Sophie, and I have a randomly generated YA title for me today, and it is The Cafe of War and Stars.
Oh dear.
Yeah. This immediately made me think of a Douglas Adams book,
Okay.
like Restaurant at the End of the Universe vibes.
I haven't read it.
I have no
Oh,
idea.
man. Okay, well, it's a good book, I'm assuming. This one, I mean, I've seen all the Douglas Adams ones. I've read the Douglas Adams one.
I've seen those books. Yes, I have.
To be fair, I did work in a bookstore for a year and a half, so I have seen them a lot. I've seen every book. I used to be able to do this wild party trick where if someone showed me the cover of a book, not the name or the author, if you showed me what the cover looked like, I could take you to the bookshelf that it was on.
Wow.
In the one store that I worked in.
I mean, that's a pretty impressive superpower.
It's a very specific party trick. I'm still pretty useful at navigating indigos, but the one store I'm an expert at. Anyway, who are you guys?
My name's Sam, and my randomly generated YA title of today is The Thought of Glitter and Seas. Just like thinking about that glitter, thinking about that sea, thinking about how all that glitter is really just microplastics going into the mouth of
Sam.
fish.
Why you gotta be like that?
I am who I am.
This book is about whale sharks dying.
Yeah. It's one of those books that you think is going to be this epic YA fantasy, and then it throws in conservation messages into it, which I'm actually kind of reading a book like that right now, which I guess I can go into later. But basically, it's about a horror book about mermaids, and there's a lot of like conservation thrown in there, and I'm like, I
love
that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's kind of the vibes I'm getting here.
Okay.
And
I am Hannah, and my randomly generated YA title for today is My Year of Wings and Lightning, which is just a Sarah J. Maas book, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my first thought was the Maximum Ride series.
Ooh.
Even though from where I'm sitting, I can see A Court of Wings and Ruin, which I have not read yet. I can see that from here, so I don't know why my thought went to Maximum Ride. But
I mean, I do like the first one or two of Maximum Ride before they
they were really good. It's weird that I, Sophie, a huge fan of birds, would like a book about people with wings.
Noted bird nerd Sophie.
Noted bird nerd Sophie likes this bird book.
Yeah.
I liked it around the same time that I liked My Side of the Mountain, which was about a boy who had a falcon.
Oh, yep.
The third book is from the falcon's perspective, you guys. I read that book maybe 10,000 times.
That's really
I would
cool.
have liked that.
Anyway, we've been on a couple tangents.
Yep, already.
Let's get into the books we're reading, which are still, but not for much longer, Twilight and Midnight Sun.
Wow.
Yeah, we had a weird one this time because we had to read 2 Twilight chapters for 1 Midnight Sun chapter.
Yeah, it was the subject of a lot of discussion.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out how to approach it.
Yeah, we're very sorry about how this is messing up our numbering system on our episodes, but the first Twilight chapter didn't give us a lot to work with.
No.
It would have been maybe a 5-minute conversation.
Yep.
And then it just had nothing to do with the Midnight Sun chapter at all, so it would have been just this 8-page Twilight chapter.
Yep. So we did this instead. Forgive us. Anyway. What happened, you guys?
So the first chapter called Phone Call, Bella, Jasper, and Alice are still in the hotel room and then find out that one of the rooms Alice is seeing in her vision is Bella's mom's house. Then comes the dreaded phone call where James pretends to be Bella's mom, tricking Alice into giving the phone over to Bella, where then James talks to Bella and Bella plots her escape from Alice and Jasper. Then we get chapter 22, which is called Hide and Seek. Bella somehow manages to get away from Jasper and Alice, which I'm still about, and heads straight into James's trap because it turns out James never had Renee and just used an old family home video. Shocker! Bella heads to meet James at her old ballet studio, I think, where he does the typical villain monologue. We find out that Alice was the one victim that got away from James, and then he starts recording his attack on Bella, and then the chapter ends with Bella blacking out and her fate unknown, but we do know, but we don't know.
Who knows?
So it is a mystery.
Maybe this time she'll die.
Maybe this time she'll die. Maybe in the 10 years since I read the book the first time, the plot has somehow changed and it's some weird Mandela effect. You never know.
Okay, wait, hold on. Before we get into Midnight Sun, wouldn't that be fucking wild if
that would be
at the end of Midnight Sun, she changes the plot and Bella gets turned into a vampire at the end of this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Spoiler alert. That's what happens at the end of the gender swapped version.
Oh, so it ends early.
Oh.
It ends at the same place as Twilight.
Right, but it quote unquote ends early in terms of the
no
series.
New Moon.
So she wouldn't write the next.
Yeah. I haven't read it, but I read about it, and it seems like the Bella character becomes a vampire at the end of the book. We just went on a really long tangent about related Twilight books, but I'm gonna cut those out to talk about Midnight Sun.
Yay!
Okay, this chapter of Midnight Sun is called Race. It opens with the plane touching down in Phoenix, which is disappointing to me personally because I wanted to see the Cullens on a plane, but whatever. They meet Alice and Jasper in the airport where they are freaking out because Bella has given them the slip, and Alice has foreseen that Bella will die if not all of the Cullens are there to save her from James. The rest of the chapter is a shockingly intense, high-speed car race scene as Edward and the Cullens grand theft auto from the parking lot, drive dangerously on a busy highway, carjack and drug a helpless woman, and cause a multi-car accident in their hurry to make it to the ballet studio, where they arrive at the end of the chapter.
Yeah.
Was anyone else shocked to find out that James is responsible for Alice? I had totally forgotten that.
I had totally forgotten too.
Yeah.
I have that written down. I
didn't
completely forgot.
Do we ever find out who the other vampire was? Because he says that he, the same kind of thing happened where a vampire was protecting Alice.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Because the other vampire is dead now.
Yeah.
James killed him.
Mm-hmm.
We, never get Alice's memories at any point.
I don't think so.
Okay.
James also sort of implies that Alice, smelled to him as Bella does to Edward.
Yeah.
It's not explicit, so I could be interpreting wrong, but he says that, she smelled much better than even you do to Bella. And I was like, is that what that is? Is she, a special smeller to James?
That's
one of
what
those
I assumed.
special smellers.
Special smellers.
I mean...
What kind of special smells are you smelling?
Don't worry about it.
Does her blood smell like lavender too? I don't know.
The other interesting thing with that is that James shows up to eat Alice, realizes that she is being turned into a vampire, and kills the vampire who did it. But he also knew that she was locked up and institutionalized for having visions, and instead of taking this presumably powerful vampire under his wing and testing to see if she had special powers as might have been indicated by her human abilities, he just left. It seems like a missed opportunity.
Yeah. I guess the idea is that he doesn't care at all about anything other than his hunts.
Yeah, but like if nothing else, she would be a good tool for his hunts if she has special abilities, right?
I bet he would think that was cheating.
Oh, maybe. Or it wouldn't be fun.
Yeah, because she would just be able to like show him the answer.
True.
I also don't think he's that smart. But then again,
I mean, he's pretty clever. He outsmarted the Cullens.
He's pretty clever. But okay, I still have issues with how he outsmarted the Cullens. I do not understand how Alice did not see any of that. I don't get it. It confused me. How did Alice not see Bella was having? I guess she hid that because he was like making her say things. So it was hard for her to see that it was James calling her. But like, even at the airport, as soon as she was like plotting her escape, her future was set, right? Like she had made that decision, and it's established that Alice's future seeing is based off decisions. You make the decision like that future is going to happen. So it's like that whole time Bella's freaking out, knowing she's going to escape, knowing she's going to leave. So then how come Alice doesn't see any of that?
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is that maybe because the first vision Alice got was the ballet studio. That's like the time period she's focused on, because during the car chase scene, Edward has to like specifically tell Alice like only the next 30 seconds. And so she has to like change what she's doing to focus on a very near future.
Right.
And so the only thing I can think is that maybe she wasn't focusing on Bella's immediate future. She was trying to figure out like what was happening right before the ballet scene.
Yeah.
But again, that doesn't make sense, because you'd think as soon as Bella was like, I'm going to escape from Jasper, Alice would have gotten a vision being like, Bella escapes Jasper.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, as soon as she even asked Jasper to go to the bathroom, like Alice should have been there. And I guess there would have been a bit of limitation that she can't just run at full vampire speed through an airport. But like at the same time, running fast as like above average human through an airport, she would have still intercepted Bella. And like, there's no way Bella would have escaped. It just...
Yeah. Well, and she should have even been able to see it as soon as Bella decided to ask Jasper to like go to the bathroom with her, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Like as soon as she's like, I don't want Alice, I want Jasper. Like it's just like there were so many points in it that there was like a decision made, and Bella knew she was going to get away, and that's all she was thinking about. That it just shocks me that there wasn't some overwhelming image of like Bella getting away that Alice didn't see.
Yeah, like the only thing I can think is that she was hyper focused on James. So she wasn't focusing on Bella. She was trying to see what James was going to do that would cause this situation to happen.
Yeah, true.
She should also have been able to see James like setting up the VHS to like play Renee's voice to trick Bella, right?
Yep.
She also should have been able to hear James talking on the phone with Bella.
Okay, let me clarify that.
Oh my god, okay.
Please help.
Guys, I have terrible news, and it's that this chapter was extremely accurate for 2 types of math that I did.
Oh, do tell.
So the first one I did was, I was like, yeah, what the hell? Like, Bella's on a phone next to Alice. How did Alice not hear James's voice come on instead of Bella's mom? So, a landline phone, the decibels of a voice coming out of the speaker of a landline phone is less than 4 decibels, which is very quiet, because a human talking normally is 60 decibels.
Okay.
So, assuming Alice was like 6 feet away, because it's a pandemic.
Why would she be closer?
Yeah, she said Alice was like across the room or something.
Yeah.
And so at that distance, it would actually be negative 33 decibels. And per 2 episodes ago, vampires can only hear to negative 15. So Alice actually can't hear the phone. Isn't that great?
I'm proud of you for figuring that out and mathing it, but it still bugs me.
I'm so proud of Stephanie Meyer for following the rule she laid out when she said James was a couple miles away.
Okay, but again,
could hear them.
Again, is Stephenie Meyer truly that smart, or have we just gone so deep? It's
still the second one.
I know.
Still the second one.
It's still the second
It's
one.
always the second one.
Let me just say that if Stephenie Meyer came to my house, knocked on the door, and was like, actually, I did all the math. Here's the math that I did for this book. I would be like, I'm not actually as surprised as I should be.
Yeah.
Because I have also done the math.
Yeah. Then I would be impressed and feel bad for me.
Yeah, I would feel bad. But if that ever happened, that would mean Stephenie Meyer actually listened to our podcast. And that would mean that maybe she would promote it, and then maybe we'd be actually full-time podcasters.
Nope.
Maybe if she listened to this podcast, she would pay reparations to the Quileute tribe.
True.
Which is what I'm asking her to do.
That is also what I'm asking her to do.
I thought you were going to say she would pay us to stop.
Oh, also
I was like, take it. I think if I found out that Stephenie Meyer, or really any other author, listened to our podcast, I would shrivel up into a husk and blow away in the wind.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Time to delete the whole podcast off the internet.
Oh my god. I was talking about this with my roommate the other day, who is the owner of the holographic Twilight cups that we have in our cupboard. They're not actually mine. And we were talking about how clever it is that she has managed to write the same book 3 times and sell it.
Yeah.
So
not
smart.
Even pretending to be a different book. It's literally the exact same book 3 times.
Yeah.
That's so impressive.
Genius.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I could do that.
Also, the concept of waiting, what is it, 15 years?
Yeah.
Since the original books came out, before being like, I'm going to write the follow-up series about this one character.
Mm-hmm.
When you have time to read all the fan fiction and fan theories that are probably way better than what I would be like, I'm going to peruse the fanfic forums and see what great ideas other people came up and put on the internet for free.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
For me,
they're usually better. They're usually better.
Yeah.
People are so much smarter than me, specifically.
Yep, same. Anyway, how did we get on that?
What were we talking about?
It was the math and Alice not being able to hear James, which I guess if we think about it, they're probably using phones from 2005, which those phones you couldn't really hear, because I just think about on my iPhone, for example, now it's if my mom calls me and I'm at the corner of my apartment and my boyfriend is in the kitchen, he can hear my mom. My mom has a very loud voice, but he can fully hear the conversation from both sides. So that's why I'm you're a vampire, you have good hearing, this doesn't make sense. But I guess if it's the technology that they had at that time, I'll buy it.
Yeah. And he's deliberately keeping his voice down.
True, yeah. Whereas my mom usually is very loud like me. So, yeah.
Related.
Yeah. I have another thing about James, though, and him on the phone. It just made me laugh. He was described as having the kind of voice you hear in the background of a luxury car commercial. And I was like, what do both of you think of when you think of a luxury car commercial? Because I imagine Cam Gaganje in the movie as James, which is also very different than how he's described in the book, where he's described as just having a blue long sleeve shirt and jeans.
And the most average looking face.
Yeah, most average looking thing, right? So it's just I'm envisioning the movie James and just imagining him as a luxury car commercial, and it just tripped up my mind a lot. So
yeah, it's like one of those ones that's all terrain.
Yeah.
Your family on the go. Make sure plush seat shots.
It's
is
adventure.
What's going across the screen right now. Yeah.
Off city limits. 4-wheel drive.
Exactly. But James.
So this is how he's talking to Bella. Say hi, Mom. Okay, now say this. Do this, Bella. Do this.
So I watch Formula One, right? And a lot of their sponsors are like luxury cars. So there's a lot of luxury car commercials.
Yeah.
Which means that most of the voiceovers are in like very smooth English accents, or they're Formula One drivers doing a voiceover for their sponsor.
Okay. Do any of those sound like they could be James?
But now I'm just imagining, this will mean nothing to anybody, but James speaking like Kimi Räikkönen, who's this like very famously very stolid Finnish guy who like refuses to answer interview questions, has like a very thick accent and mumbles a lot. Like, oh, well, you know, Bella, I need you to say this.
And Bella's like, wow, just like a commercial.
Wow.
Just like a commercial.
Just like an Alfa Romeo.
Yeah. See, I was going to say that the only luxury car commercial I've watched recently is the, 2-year-old Truckla commercial that Simone Yacht did for her Tesla that she converted into a pickup truck. So that's all I'm thinking about now.
That is a good one.
That's fair, yeah.
Anyway, so I guess he has like a very, assuming he's not Kimi Räikkönen, he has like a very articulate, like smooth, kind of sexy voice. Not that Kimi Räikkönen doesn't have a nice voice, but he's not going to listen to this. I don't know why I'm equivocating.
He might. You never know.
Oh my god!
Then you really would have to crumble into dust.
Yeah. I would never be able to get on the internet ever again.
Yeah, because I don't know. I feel like because books that describe people who have like very like smooth voices that sound like, I guess they might be in commercials, my brain immediately is like, so the kind of voice that makes me want to punch him.
Yeah, that's also kind of what I thought too.
Yeah,
like
can't trust anybody with like, a very chill voice.
Yeah.
When James shows up, or I guess when Bella shows up and sees James, she mentions that his irises were nearly black with just a hint of ruby around the edges. And I was like, so do their pupils dilate when they're hungry? And that's why their eyes get darker?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Like, wait, I didn't realize their eyes get darker when they're hungry?
Like when Edward's eyes are black, it's because he's hungry.
Oh.
And I was thinking like the iris changes color, like it does when they switch from human to animal blood for no discernible reason.
Oh,
yeah.
But is it just that like the pupils get blown out when they're hungry?
I guess that would make sense, because like that's what you get in like cats.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Is it just like a result of that instantaneous hunger, like that thirst, and then the prolonged space between feeding and hunger is the actual like eye change? Because like I feel like that would make more sense, because if they can go from like yellow or gold to red just by switching from animal to human blood, then isn't it something in the blood that's causing the chemical reaction that's making the eyes change color? So it would make sense that without that protein or whatever, that they would go black, and then once it's entered into the system again, the eye color changes. Right?
Yeah, that sounds like a more believable. Once we get past the part where like it doesn't make any good goddamn sense why their eyes change color at all.
Oh my god, I hate it.
So yeah, like in the ballet studio, he's got this like instantaneous thirst or lust or whatever you want to call it. Lust for blood.
I hate it.
Bloodlust, Sophie, not the other kind.
Bloodlust.
So in this case, he's hungry, but also his pupils are dilated because he's hunting.
Yeah, because didn't he ate
because
he ate somewhere when they were chasing him. I remember that being a point. They were like, oh, he must have ate like just outside of somewhere, I think. Or
they ate on their way into Forks.
Yeah, so that would have only been like a day. So there's no way that he would have gone like red to black that quick. So I feel like it's got to be that he's just like instantly like, oh my god, there's this like human right in front of me. I'm going to eat all her blood and make Edward pay for it, blah, blah, blah. And he's just like salivating. And then the normal black we see like in the Cullen's eyes is just like the lack of blood.
The lack of blood for some reason.
Making their eyes gold. I want to know what that chemical reaction is now.
Yeah. Speaking of the timeline, did you guys notice that it's a spring break? which means it's March or April. And Bella moved to Forks in fucking January. It's been 3 months.
Well, the amount of time she's actually known Edward is 3 days still.
Yeah.
I think we're up to 4 days with the overnight.
This is the most ridiculous. Oh my god. I can't handle it.
That's too much.
Okay.
The insta-love in this is way more than I thought.
We've explained it away by it be not on Bella's end.
Not on Bella's end. On Edward's
well, Bella's end is pheromones, because Bella's just horny.
She's just a 16-year-old teenager.
Yeah. When they get to the airport, there's a line that every cell in Bella's body knew that Edward was coming. And I was like, is it the parasite? Does she already have some of the parasite and it's attracting her to Edward?
I mean, he has kissed her. There is venom in her. His lips are wet when they kiss. She licked her lips
dry
after.
As a bone.
Sophie, no, they're not.
Completely dry.
I like it.
No,
they're dry.
God, that would be such an awful kiss.
Just making out with a rock.
No, a diamond.
Cold and kind of pointy.
Just very hard and cold. You know, just everybody likes to kiss an ice cube.
I have always looked at a marble statue and been like, I really want to smooch that.
Want to get my tongue all up in there.
Want to lick it up and down.
Nope.
This is Greek statue.
Is terrible. Terrible.
Got to get my lips all up in that.
Nope. That's how you get kicked out of the museum.
Yep.
I wonder if there's a vampire that hunts by just pretending to be a statue and then it eats security guards.
I mean, their eyes were not made of marble. Their hair is colorful.
You could put paint on it.
You could.
They'd be so good at human statues.
I guess.
Or you could just be like, "Wow, so realistic."
So realistic. Someone painted this.
Wait, I have a question.
Okay.
Could a vampire dye its hair? Because I was thinking
I thought it was permanently.
My thing is, this whole statue thing got me thinking, as I was like, oh, they could just dye their hair. But if we've described as we did that the hair and everything on them is essentially the same, it's that diamond structure, they don't lose it, it doesn't tear anything, that would mean that the hair isn't porous and therefore it couldn't absorb dye, so they couldn't dye their hair.
Yeah, I think they could do the temporary dyes that you can do that wash out.
It just lays over.
In a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I doubt they could do it permanently.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a follow-up on the diamond thing.
Yeah.
Because, we already established that by our very scientific using of a key to key out which rocks vampires are made of.
Yes.
That they are made of diamonds, at least on the outside.
Yes.
Why the don't lights inside make them glitter?
Wait.
Are diamonds... Aren't they kind of opaque before you polish them?
But they would...
sorry, I misunderstood the question.
Yeah, why do they glitter in sunlight but not under, a very bright airport light?
It's the fluorescence.
The UV?
It's something to do with UV, it's gotta be.
But, diamonds glitter under any light.
That is an excellent point. It is true. Diamonds do glitter under any light. That is true.
Yeah. I'm assuming it has to be the intensity of the light.
Yeah.
That is the major factor. Maybe in 2008, inside lights aren't quite enough to make the glittering noticeable. But,
Well, and they can go out when it's, cloudy, but, there's still sunlight. That's why you can see.
So, it doesn't make any sense to
maybe the parasite is very, not phototactic, but,
photosensitive?
Photosensitive, I guess. But specifically photosensitive to, sunlight and the way that a lot of, marine microorganisms are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be the parasite reacting to the sunlight.
Yeah. Listen, we look up a lot of stuff that I don't know anything about for this podcast, which is 100% physics.
Yeah.
I don't get. So I thought maybe there would be something about how like artificial lights, because artificial lights, unless they're specifically for plants or coral,
yeah,
don't usually carry the full spectrum of light.
Yeah.
Right? So usually you're going from like blue / ultraviolet, which is further down that we can't see, up to infrared, which we also can't see, but red in the parts we can see.
Yeah.
So I looked up what a fluorescent light and an incandescent light have, because I'm assuming in 2008 there probably weren't like LED lights everywhere.
No.
So daylight has like a full spectrum of light, which is why it's like quote unquote white light. But a fluorescent bulb, like basically the graph of light spikes up like in the yellow to orange area and then in the greens, and then an incandescent light like starts basically nothing at blue and then slowly increases towards red. So like I was thinking maybe it's something like the ultraviolet / blue area is what their skin reacts to, but I don't know how that works at all.
No.
It'd have to be like the composition of their skin and it only like reflecting back.
Yeah, because like
wavelengths.
Yeah.
Because so certain bird feathers.
Bird nerd.
This is okay, but this is really cool. This is cool. This is a cool bird fact.
Okay.
The color blue doesn't actually exist in bird feathers. It's not a pigment, it's a structure. So it's the way that the light reflects it, like peacock feathers.
Yeah.
Is like the physical structure of the feather, not the color blue. Yeah. And so that kind of thing exists. So maybe that's what's happening.
So vampires are humans parasitized by peacock moth hybrids.
Yeah. Is what I'm saying, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, it explains the Twilight movie filter.
So blue.
It's all blue. Lots of blue.
Yeah, I did just want to talk about peacock feathers, but I don't know how that relates to their diamond skin, unless the diamonds are the same microstructure as peacock feathers.
But then wouldn't that not
doesn't make them a
diamonds?
diamond?
Yeah, I was like, then they're no longer a diamond.
Maybe it's like underneath.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe there's some kind of thing with like the prism where it will only react with certain wavelengths of light. It's been a long time since I talked about physics. I don't think I'm qualified for this.
This is my problem. I don't know anything about this. We have some good theories and we're going to not talk about it anymore because we're going to embarrass ourselves if we do.
Yep.
So probably that. Anyway.
Yeah. You know, magic.
Magic. No. These are very biologically accurate.
It's true.
Vampires.
This is gonna bug me. Yeah.
Every part of it makes sense.
I
wanted to talk about the car chase.
Me too.
Yeah. I liked this. This was a good scene.
Okay, but all I could think of the entire time was how many people they were screwing over. Like, they stole so many cars, they wrecked so many cars, they nonchalantly threw a car into the middle of traffic, and just nonchalantly, there was no fatalities apparently. Like, I get that they're bloodthirsty vampires, but I was just like, oh my god!
And like, Carlisle, the absolute paragon of morality, has no problem with like drugging a woman on the side of the road to steal her car.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, that's out of character for you, my dude.
Yeah. And also, like, they were not being inconspicuous at all.
No.
Like, I know one of Edward's concerns was like the Volturi, and he's like, that's why we can't run, because like the Volturi would come. But I'm like, you're fucking wreaking havoc in the middle of the freeway in Phoenix, of all places. Like, you're not even in LA or Florida or somewhere crazy.
They stole some very conspicuous cars, too.
I mean, to be fair, no part of it, like, necessarily was done by a vampire.
I mean...
Well, and they're not gonna be caught, I guess.
Yeah, and nobody has cell phones at that point to, like, put it on TikTok immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were they all like, wearing their hoodies and sleeves pulled down during this whole time? Oh no, they pulled over under a...
They're under a bridge, I think, right?
Under a bridge.
They were still all wearing their hoodies. Yeah. They make a point to mention that when Jasper has to like reach out of the car to pay for the parking pass of the car they stole, he has to like pull his hoodie sleeve all the way down over his hand.
Yeah.
And the car has very tinted windows, the one they stole.
Yes, of course. Got it.
Because conveniently that exists in the exact location, parked at the exact place where they need it.
Uh-huh.
Do we need to come to terms with the fact that Stephenie Meyer like is a big car jock?
Okay,
just like Hannah.
Oh, yeah.
I actually want to talk about that because I looked up the specific model of car and it's like a pretty apt choice. And then I was wondering how did she come up with this very specific car model for this specific scene? So I went to her website and I found this quote. 2 of her brothers are mega gearheads, and, quote, "This comes in very convenient when I need to know what kind of car one of my characters is driving. I simply call Jacob or Paul and ask which is the fastest and most powerful 4-door sedan out there, and then whichever one I'm speaking to will immediately rattle off a long specific description of the car I want, including the price, the horsepower, the time it takes to get from 0 to 60, and any new body styling that might be on the way." So she has a resource for these things. Which, makes sense because this car they stole is the WRX STI. And I was like, what the f*** is this? Uh-huh. It's basically, a very fancy sport version of the Subaru Impreza, which was introduced initially into the United States in 2004. And, the 2004 and 2005 models, which is the one that this one they stole would have been, because it didn't exist before then, and this book came out in 2005. They're, very highly sought after to be modified for drag racing and rally racing. They're still incredibly valuable if you can get one of these specific years. They're the number one car that you want if you're looking for a fast car to modify for street racing. So it's
dang.
Wow.
Exactly the right car.
Oh, I just looked up this car.
It looks
and I was
ridiculous.
This car from Grand Theft Auto 5. This is the best car to get in Grand Theft Auto 5, you guys.
That makes sense. Apparently it's the best car to get for actual street racing.
Amazing.
I wonder if Grand Theft Auto based that off Twilight or street racing.
Probably Twilight.
It's definitely Twilight.
But Grand Theft Auto came out before Midnight Sun, which is when this car is described.
Excellent point. So
Oh, this is such a good point.
Yeah, yeah, because she definitely didn't write Twilight with that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe Stephenie Meyer is one of the writers in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Maybe.
Yeah,
that's probably makes the most sense.
That makes sense.
Hey, Sophie, does the one in Grand Theft Auto 5 have a dark cobalt blue paint scheme with gold wheels? Because that's the model that you want if you're going to be looking for one of these cars, apparently.
I think so. I should say I have seen this car only owned by my friends who play Grand Theft Auto 5 because I'm not good at Grand Theft Auto 5, so I don't have the good car. I don't know if this surprises anyone, but I'm not good at shoot gun video game.
Yeah. Me neither.
It looks really cool when my friends drive it, though, in the video game. I don't have friends who drive this car in real life.
It looks super ridiculous to me, especially if you imagine it in the paint scheme that was described in Midnight Sun, which is bubbles of neon orange rising from a purple background. Just that's
a lot. Horrible.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. But anyway, if you're trying to picture this car, just imagine the most ridiculous Subaru Impreza that you've ever seen with a giant spoiler on the back.
Yeah, does the Subaru Impreza also have this weird, vent right on the car nose?
I feel like yes.
Oh, yeah, it does. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Stephenie Meyer might not know a lot about cars herself, but she has car fam.
Right.
Yeah.
On that note, we can agree that it's illegal that she named a character in her book after her brother, right?
That's what I was just thinking.
I think she named characters after all of her siblings.
No.
Oh my god, that
it's a little weird.
It's
especially because like
he's part of the romantic love triangle.
That's what I'm struggling with.
I think Emily is named after one of her sisters too, and it's like I can see being like Paul and Emily, these are like side characters that need names. But I'm imagining like writing a book and turning my younger brother into like an angsty teenage lover who falls in love with a baby. Like, I don't, that's not for me.
The worst.
It's pretty terrible.
I don't like.
But also, how do you explain that to the other siblings? Like, yeah, you're side characters, but Jacob is one of the main characters. Yeah. He's my favorite sibling, apparently.
Jacob helps me with all the car questions I have, so...
That's some psychology I don't want to get into.
Yeah. I mean, at least her brother's name isn't, like, James. Oh. I made you this awful person. Actually, I would prefer that.
Yeah, that's more what I would do if I was going to name a character after my brother. Be like, look,
you're this villain.
I made the villain a fucking nerd and named him after you.
Yeah. Just rude.
Sibling love at its truest.
Speaking of siblings, there's a very great part, which I think we all enjoyed, where when they're driving at one point, they have to like cram through this very small space. And so Alice foresees that they're going to lose the side mirrors. And so Edward's like, Emmett, Jasper, you're the side mirrors now. And so they each turn in like from the back seat to stare at the road behind them in that direction. It was very funny to think about, but it also produced my favorite line in this chapter, and maybe like all of Midnight Sun. I could see the road in 360 degrees and 30 seconds into the future. Like, I don't know why, but like that line just like was like, whoa, that line like hit me. It was good.
But it's so powerful.
How do you
everything was the road.
How do you even process that amount of information though? Like
with your vampire brain.
Yeah.
With your vampire brain.
But like I can't even handle trying to envision driving like that because like I just like how do you do?
Yeah.
You need a vampire brain.
This is further proof that vampire brains can actually multitask.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Support that.
The mental image of Emmett and Jasper just like staring hardcore out the window so that Edward can use them as rearview mirrors. It's really funny.
I know.
I don't know what it was. I think it's because my brain was just so tired when I was reading these chapters. But when he tells them to like be the side mirrors, he says M and Jazz.
Yeah.
And Jazz is spelled Jazz.
It's cute.
Z squared.
My brain was so tired. I read this sentence and I was like, who is he talking to? Because these two specifically, like shorthand names, are more typically like shortened M from like Emily and Jazz from like Jasmine is where I've normally seen it. And I was like, who is Emily and who is Jasmine? I want to talk about the other math I did, which was during this car chase.
Okay.
It's only a very small amount of math. The whole reason they take a car is because Edward says, according to Alice's vision of Bella, I guess, getting horribly murdered, is that it would take them only minutes to run from the airport to where Bella's house is. And Bella doesn't have minutes. They have to take a car. Which fine. Because we've figured out once and for all, vampires can run at 67 meters per second, which works out to about 150 miles per hour. So anytime they're in a car, which in this chapter, they say very often the speed the car is going.
Yeah.
Anytime they're going less than 150 miles per hour, they could be running faster than that. Which they do get up like to 180, 200 pretty consistently, especially on the highway. So I'm like, fair, Edward. Whatever. And when I do the math at 67 meters per second from the Phoenix airport to Scottsdale, which is part of Phoenix, I guess, that would take them 7.8 minutes.
Oh.
So
that's
accurate.
Minutes.
Yeah. It would only take them minutes. And 7.8 minutes is too long.
Yeah.
Although, like, how fast is that? Like, I don't know that I've ever driven anywhere in less than 7 minutes. Like, the amount of time it takes them to get from the parked car.
Yeah, there's no way.
Right?
There's
like,
no
onto
way.
the highway was probably 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're going like 60 probably at that point.
And if you're leaving a high traffic airport like that, like that's a main international hub in Phoenix, I'm assuming, there's no way.
What would have made sense is if they ran out onto the highway and jumped in a car that was moving.
That would have made more sense, yeah.
Or just run there, because once you factor in traffic and the fact that they had to like make a car swap in the middle of their thing.
Yeah.
And cause mass destruction.
Plus, like, it's only because they find this specific car that they can go faster than their run speed, essentially.
They do have a Mercedes sports car that Alice and Jasper drove. So that would probably be... I don't know why they didn't take that car.
Like, from the airport?
Yeah, why did they have to steal a car when their own car was there?
I don't think it went fast enough.
But they were, like, looking specifically for a car to steal. Wouldn't it have been faster to just go to the car that they knew could go fast, rather than spending time looking around in case there was, like, a heavily modded Subaru Impreza available for them to steal?
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, especially if they don't know, like, I'm assuming they didn't take their car because, like Sam said, it didn't go fast enough.
If it's a Mercedes sports car that Rosalie has been, like, tinkering with, and they have all the money in the world to make it go faster, how is their car not faster?
I was checking the paragraph it was in. I think the reason they do it is because Alice says any car that we take, the police are going to be searching for its owners. So their car probably has Forks plates or like...
Yeah, some identifying feature.
Yeah. Okay, I thought that meant any car we take as in any car we steal, not any car we use. I think I misinterpreted that.
Well, that's also what I assume, but I think that's also why they took a different one.
Right, because they knew they were going to be stopped and have to ditch it.
Yeah.
Well, I just Googled the average top speed of a Mercedes normally is about 210 kilometers per hour, which is about 130 miles per hour. So Rosalie...
Not fast enough.
Yeah. Assuming Rosalie did soup it up, though, like Hannah suggested, it could get there depending on the model and stuff, but yeah, I think the combination of it probably wasn't fast enough, and that, like, if they took that, it would have been traced. I have a hard time believing Edward would have given a shit, though, at that point.
Yeah. He would have just been like, ditch the car, we'll get another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also feel like the kind of person to own that, like, super fast, whatever sports car they stole wouldn't keep it in an airport garage. Like, I have a father who is obsessed with his truck. And when people are obsessed with their cars, those cars do not get left in public parking garages for an extended period of time. So.
Yeah. Also, like, so the other car they mention is like a Ford Mustang and a Nissan 350Z.
Something.
And like a Ford Mustang, max speed is 172 miles per hour. It's silly because I guess Edward is like, I really don't want the Volturi involved, even though he claims to like not care about anything currently.
Yeah.
It really would have been faster to run.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it would have. And then they would have avoided the traffic and like having to go on roads rather than a direct line.
Yeah.
And like there's no way, no one had phones. Well, they had phones, but like no one had camera phones. Like if they had just run, no one would have, people would have seen them, but People see crazy shit every day. So it's like, I doubt the Volturi would ever hear word of it.
What I think would have, like, this scene, just like, brief editor's note.
Mm-hmm.
If Alice had foreseen that this car was there back when they were like, we need to figure out how to get Bella.
Mm-hmm.
If like one of the futures she saw was like, they steal this car, instead of them getting down and starting to look for cars that could go fast, right? Because then it would be like, it's either run or Alice sees that this car exists down here somewhere.
Right,
Yeah. That would have made more sense.
Yeah, it would have been like, okay, well, then they take this one car, not any car. Again, this assumes that someone has done the math.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although, several chapters ago, Edward is like, oh yeah, he could easily outpace a max speed Jeep Wrangler. And it's like, cars don't have like that much difference in their max speed.
Yeah.
So like, why he would be like, yes, but a car will be faster now.
There must be some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know what baffled me.
I guess it's because it's daytime.
Yeah, like it is definitely more dangerous for them to go running rather than to just be like chased by police and end up being mysterious people who stole a car and disappeared.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to affect them. But like running around could affect them, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
well,
like you said last time, Sophie, the plot has to happen that way.
Yeah. Stephenie Meyer wanted to write a cool car driving scene, and she did. It's cool car driving scene.
It is a pretty cool scene.
Had my nerves going.
It's another one of those ones that I'm like a huge fan of, where it's all of them using their powers together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I love these scenes.
We did talk about Edward and Alice. We didn't talk yet about what Jasper does, which is really cool. Because he apparently has, in his like history of warfare, has figured out a way to like extend a feeling of like battle concentration to everybody. So like he's keeping everybody very calm and hyper focused during this car race. So like no one's freaking out. Everyone's doing exactly what they need to do, exactly when they need to do it, because of his influence. And I thought that was pretty cool. I have in my notes really cool. Jasper using his war powers for good.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's probably a lot. So the next chapter in Twilight is called The Angel, and the next chapter in Midnight Sun is called Blood. So what do we think is happening next? I guess we should say that the chapters end with Bella losing consciousness, and in Midnight Sun, Edward kicking through the door.
Yes.
Into the ballet studio.
Well,
so I'm guessing Bella. Okay, let me guess first, because I don't know what's happening. I'm guessing Bella like slowly wakes up to see Edward arrive and thinks he's an angel.
That's also my guess.
To save her.
Yeah.
Edward runs in and has to deal with the fact that Bella's blood is everywhere and he can smell it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's also been bitten, and that's why she's hallucinating and thinking that Edward is an angel.
Does she get bitten?
She does get bitten.
Yeah.
Does that happen now?
How does she not become a vampire?
Because Carlisle sucks.
No, don't tell her. Don't tell her.
Okay. Oh my God, I can't wait to read it.
Okay.
Oh no.
Yep.
You're gonna love it, Sophie.
We're gonna biology the hell out of what happens, huh?
Yeah.
I hate it. Okay.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to.
Do you think, how much of the next Midnight Sun chapter do you think is Edward like agonizing over the fact that he's like, I could be killing Bella with the blood smell?
At least 80%.
Okay. Great.
That's
I'm
my
so
guess.
excited. It's been a couple episodes since we've had to deal with Edward being like, but her smell, I will kill her for it.
Yeah.
It'll be the worst.
But it's either going to be 80% Edward obsessing over trying not to kill Bella because she smells so good, or 80% Edward being an absolute murdering psychopath thinking about James. It could go either way.
Could go either way, honestly.
Yeah.
Great.
Cool.
Can't wait.
Yep. That's what happens. We're getting down to the wire here, guys.
We have 3 more chapters. We're going to have to figure out what to do after we finish Twilight.
Imagine what it'll be like when we're done Twilight. Actually, more importantly, imagine what it'll be like when we're done Midnight Sun.
Oh, that's the one I'm looking forward to.
Yep. I'm
not adding it to Goodreads. You can't make me. So let's talk about what books we're reading. Yay! Which is not Twilight and Midnight Sun. I'm not currently reading those. No one can prove that I am. I am currently reading The Poppy War for our May book of the month, even though it will no longer be May when this book episode comes out. But yeah, it's intense. I'm listening to the audiobook. I listened to half of it in one day.
Wow.
To be fair, I work 10-hour work days, so
there's that.
And then I also have read the entire Talia Hibbert series.
Yeah.
This week, because that's just where I'm at personally.
Wait, did you read the new one too?
I'm halfway through the last one.
I love those. I've only read Get a Life, Chloe Brown, but I'm excited for the rest.
I'm just saying, the third book has enemies to lover.
Oh, yes! I love it! Can't wait.
Yeah, the second one was my favorite. It's great. It was a good one. They're all very cute. Kind of intense also, but anyway, I like them. What are you guys reading?
Well, I'll have our listeners know that I do not owe Sophie and Hannah a fancy coffee because I did finish The Way of Kings.
Yay!
It was great, but holy hell, that is a long book. Anyways, but
How long did it take you in the end?
Okay, so I started reading it on December 30th of 2020. I finished it on May 16th of 2021. So it took me about 5 months to read.
Dang.
Wow.
Yeah. But in that time I read 23 other books. So
holy cow.
But what I'm actually reading now, I have not started Words of Radiance yet because I haven't decided if I want to listen to that on audio or try to read it. But I'm also reading The Poppy War, and the book that I was talking about earlier with mermaids and conservation is called Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant, who is also Seanan McGuire, actually, which is a fun fact. Yeah, didn't know that. Yeah, she's got 2 pen names. She writes under both of them.
That's cool.
Pretty cool.
I love the title of that book. That's a great title. Yeah,
it's basically just like horror and mermaids. So me and my boyfriend are listening to it together because he likes horror books and I like mermaids. And so we're like, okay, let's read this together.
Yeah.
It's pretty good so far. A little cliche, but so far so good. Anyways, I've talked long enough. Hannah, what are you reading?
Stop me if you've heard this before. I'm reading The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang because it's our Midlight Book Club of the month.
Yep.
It is very good.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only book I'm physically reading other than the nonfiction book that I am taking a break from. But I'm also currently listening to a nonfiction book called Humans, A Brief History of How We Fucked It All Up.
Yes!
Which Sam recommended to me. It is fabulous, especially the audiobook, and I highly recommend it to anybody who is even trying to get into nonfiction. I feel like this would be a really good jumping off point if you want to read more nonfiction. It's a very kind of tongue-in-cheek, humorous look at all of the mistakes humans have made through history. The chapter I just listened to had a whole section on wars that were stupid for non-humanitarian reasons, for just we went to war for 45 minutes because we wanted to sit on a golden throne and they said no.
Yeah, it's so good. I'm so happy you're reading it.
Yeah, what did I listen to? I finished a Court of whatever it was, number 2.
A Court of whatever.
Accurate.
Yeah.
I don't remember. A Court of 2 Nouns.
Mm-hmm.
Book number 2, and I needed a palate cleanser, so I went for a funny nonfiction.
Yep.
That's fair. I'm happy that you read A Court of Mist and Fury, but I'm also so sorry. Like, so sorry.
The problem is now I have to read the rest of the series, and I know that the last book is only porn.
Don't
but
read
I still
A Court
have
of
to
Frost
read it.
and Starlight. Like, it's a waste of time. Don't do it.
I have to, though.
Oh, but okay.
I cannot wait to be getting the Snapchat reviews from Hannah listening to the audiobook of this.
Oh my god, I was listening to the famous chapter 55 of A Court of Mist and Fury.
Got it in one.
And like, that's the porn chapter in that book, although there's also other ones.
Yeah.
But I was like on a walk and I walked through a park and then past a police station and I was like, this is illegal, I'm pretty sure. I don't think this is okay. And I'm like,
they're
hello,
gonna arrest me.
Hello, group of men playing tennis and also police officers. How do you do today?
See, I understood your pain, Hannah, because I decided to be reading one of these Talia Hibbert books on the subway, and I was reading the ebook, and I did the thing where like you're reading and you're sitting in the subway chair, and then you like turn so that your back is against the wall, and then you like hold up your phone so nobody can see what's on your screen.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is a porn chapter.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm not suspicious at all. It's hard to read books that have romantic parts in it.
Yeah.
If you liked this chapter of Midlight Crisis, consider rating and reviewing us on iTunes or your podcatcher of choice. You can talk to us and find fun-related content on social media. We are at Midlight Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and all chapters of the show thus far are available on our website, midlightpod.podbean.com, and on YouTube.
And Edward feels about Phoenix the way we feel about Edward. We don't see the beauty that Bella sees there. Do you? Do I? No.
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 F that guy.
0.
Fuck that guy.
Kimi Räikkönen, Alfa Romeo Racing, all in. That's pretty much it.